Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to this YouTube channel. It's your guy Igor here. In today's video, I'll tell you top 5 fastest and easiest ways to immigrate to Canada in 2020. I have made a similar video in the past, but it has been 2 years since then and lots of things have changed. New programs have started and it's important to know what you have. And the first program I would like to mention is Express Entry. And it's obvious, it's the biggest program right now and tons of people are coming to Canada through Express Entry. Now the good part about it is that you come here on a permanent residency with your family. You do not need a job offer under this program, even though it would help because you wouldn't have to show proof of funds if you had a job offer, but you do not need it. Now, the downfall of this program is that you do need English. You might need education and work experience matters. So there is a point system. It is very competitive and lots of people are saying, well, I have this score and how do I increase it? Because they don't know one thing. You can actually improve your CRS score and still get your permanent residency under this program. And it is never an easy thing. And I know it might sound obvious to you, but you have to put a lot of effort to increase it. There are 3 ways I suggest increasing it. Number 1 is of course English. By getting a higher IELTS score, you get more CRS score. Sounds funny, right guys? You can actually get more work experience, you get more CRS score. You get more education, it also equals in more CRS score. Of course, there is a limit to how much years of education you have and how much experience you have, and sometimes it's just stuck on English. It takes years of practice, tutoring to improve it, to get the score that you desire, but it is what it takes for you to come to Canada because you have to stand out. Like, there are so many people around the world trying to get to this country. And if you want to compete with them, you have to put in more effort. You have to stand out. You have to be ahead of them to get here because there is a pool of people, everyone wants to get in, and they take those ones who are on the top of the pool. So you need to get on the top. That's why it is difficult for so many, but it's not impossible. Second way to get into Canada is PNPs, Provincial Nominee Programs. There are 10 provinces in Canada, 3 territories. It's the world's second largest country, and of course provinces compete between each other and they have different kinds of immigration programs. To make things easy and not to make this video 2 hours or 3 hours long to cover all of them, I'm going to cover the only ones that make sense the most and they're the most popular. Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program and Rural and Northern Immigration Pilot Program. Both of these programs are equally amazing. Now, the best thing about it is that you don't need much English. CLB4 is enough. If you are understanding this video, you are already having way above CLB4. Next thing is, you don't need much education. So you don't need to be a university graduate to increase your CRS score because there is no CRS score whatsoever. No CRS score, not much English required, not much education, and of course NOC codes 0, A, B, C, D, which means is you don't need much skills and you don't need much work experience. These are the best things about these provincial nominee programs, and the best thing about the one that I specified is you can actually apply outside of Canada. Lots of provinces are, you have to be in those provinces. And the APP and the Rural Immigration Northern Pilot, those guys, they don't really need it. So all I'm saying is, guys, the only thing you're going to require, and it's the most difficult to obtain. If it was easy, everyone would just move into Canada. It is never an easy job to get a job offer. Companies are actually, lots of companies are getting fed up because people are asking them to sponsor them into Canada when they're just trying to find someone to work within Canada. But there are some companies searching for people outside of the Canada. And that is why these programs and provincial nominee programs, they exist. That's why they have been a success, and that's why so many people actually came to Canada and got their permanent residency status by immigrating through those programs with their families. Some people decided to stay in those provinces, some people moved out, but the matter of fact is, it is working, but it's not easy. It requires a lot of work. For some of you, express entry would be the way to go. For others who don't want to increase the English, don't want to get too much of education, that might be the third way to get into Canada would be becoming an international student. Studying in Canada can help you get into Canada. It also helps you get Canadian education, which means is lots of provincial nominee programs need you to have an education in that provinces. So you would be qualified under one of the PNPs for sure. Second thing is express entry is going to give you extra points for having more education, and you're going to get extra points for having Canadian education. Studying in Canada equals into a work permit, so you're allowed to work. You get an open work permit, which gives you Canadian work experience. You'll have to get a job offer, you'll have to work in Canada, but all of a sudden, you got not only the work experience you needed, you got Canadian work experience, which means is that now you're qualified under a Canadian experience class, under express entry, and you got more points in general for your CRS score, and you can get an employer that might get you an LME because you are already here and you have proven to be a good professional and they really want to help you out. They might do that for you. And it is way easier to find a job when you are allowed to work within the country and employer doesn't have to sponsor you. So if you're applying for express entry or PNP, proof of funds, you don't even have to show it because you already have a job offer. So being a student in Canada increases your chances to get through express entry, gives you education, Canadian work experience, and overall your English also goes up, and it also increases your CRS score, and that is why so many international students find it really way easier to get your permanent resident status in Canada. While you're studying, your spouse is allowed to work full-time on an open work permit. So really come into Canada on a study permit. You can come here with the spouse who can work and support you while you're studying, and then when you graduate, you start working and you can get your permanent residency. It's not easy, again. It's very expensive to study in Canada. You pay 3 times from what Canadians are paying. So it's gonna cost you a lot. It's going to take years out of your life. And that is how I did my immigration. Being an international student, I graduated, got experience, got English, and applied for express entry. Another way to get into Canada is actually through Canadian marriage. So you meet someone from Canada who has a status here, permanent residency or citizenship. You fell in love, you got married. Now the person from Canada can sponsor you to come to Canada. Now, by sponsoring, it's not just a word sponsoring. They are actually responsible for you for 3 years financially. So if you were to go and ask for social assistance, a sponsor has to pay it off to the government, all of the money that you took from the government. So, it's a serious thing, and I'll tell you that I do encourage people falling in love and getting married, but not the soul of getting a permanent residency. It is a way to get it. It is one of the easiest. That's how it made on the list. But if it is only for the sake of getting your permanent residency or citizenship to get into Canada, and if it's a fraud, it's a serious crime. It's like up to 5 years of jail sentence and penalty of up to 100,000 Canadian dollars, or both of them combined, 100,000, 100K plus 5 years in jail, plus losing your status and getting deported. So be really careful if you're planning to go through this option. Make sure that it's a love and it is for real. It is for real. You don't need much English. In fact, you don't really need anything. Your Canadian spouse you just have to pass the medical test and whatever the requirements are, pay the application fees, and you are in Canada. And I know two people who went through this program. One guy I used to work with actually two of them are guys and two of them are from Ukraine. Now, I know lots of you would say it's easier for ladies, but I only know guys who got sponsored by Canadian ladies. Strange, right? But anyways, his wife, she was back in Ukraine visiting her village. They found each other and the magic happened. They fell in love and she sponsored him to Canada. Another case, guy was on a visitor visa. He went for a Ukrainian parade in Toronto. They fell in love. She kept him here in Canada. They got married and they're still living together. So that's true love and I'm happy for those guys. Next way to get into Canada is working holiday visa or a NAFTA agreement. So Canada has lots of agreements with many countries, such as working holiday visa. There is a list of the countries that are allowed to apply for a work permit, for a working visa, without needing to have an LME. So you don't need a job offer, you don't need an LME, you really just apply for a working visa, you come and you work in Canada when you want, as long as you're young. So it's working holiday visa. This is one of the best programs, I would say. Unfortunately, not every country is on the list. Then there is a NAFTA agreement. NAFTA agreement is basically a free trade agreement and Trump is trying to cancel it, but too bad for him. Anyways, guys, you can get transferred within the company to Canada. You don't need LME and you can start working. That's why some people call it NAFTA visa. The thing about NAFTA and working visa is that you get Canadian work experience. By coming into Canada, you can qualify under PNP depending on which province you are. Having Canadian work experience increases your CRS score for express entry. So you improve your score for express entry by coming and working in Canada. You improve your chances to qualify under one of the PNP programs depending on which province you're in, and you really get a job offer and you start working. So it simplifies lots of things. It's almost like being an international student but not spending as much money, not even close as international students would spend to come and study in Canada. So you don't need to study, it saves lots of hassle, but unfortunately not everyone is on that list. Lots of people are asking me, why don't I get a job offer? I cannot get a job offer. Here you go. I'm going to help you out a little bit with that. I had people sending me their resumes and I'm not going to show you those resumes on this video, but they are absolutely not looking how the resumes should look, and they would just be disqualified by the format, by the things people mention, and the layout. Even though they have the right skills and potential and education to get a job offer in Canada, that's not how you write your resume. And even though there's a bunch of websites, but people need a custom approach. So I have a family member, Nitu, and she has helped so many people get highly paying jobs, change their careers by just modifying and editing their resume, by putting the right words, right sentences that would be eye-catching and would increase your qualifications by just that format itself. So she knows how to word it in such a way that gets you a better, highly paying job. It's not going to be free, of course, and I'll leave all the details in the description of this video, guys. So if you're interested, go there, shoot me an email, and we will go from there. Guys, subscribe to this channel because it is free. I'm providing content, such information that lawyers would usually charge money for, and it's all free because it's on YouTube. Also, give it a big fat thumbs up if you think this video was useful. Thumbs down if you think it's total garbage. Leave a comment down below, guys. Also, check out my AIPP video and my Rural North Immigration Pilot video. Subscribe to this channel over here. Check out my Canadian vlogs on my family channel over here. We'll see you in Canada. Bye for now.